Thanks for joining us again, Jared and myself, with something a little bit different this time, Jared. Going for a sort of a playoff bracket type of setup with slasher films. So we're going to bust through. We've got a Western Conference and a fucking Eastern Conference, and we'll break it down to a sort of a finals bracket, and then we might come back for a second episode of the finals.
Now, can I just ask how you broke it into Eastern Conference, Western Conference? You did mention you had some notes.
I had some notes drafted 3 years ago, and I couldn't find it.
Okay. So there's no background, there's no criteria.
I was fair to say we're winging this.
Yeah.
So if people think it's
we can say it was well planned. We just can't prove that it was well planned at this point.
No one wants to check out the papers for this episode.
You're currently in the office putting them through a shredder.
No, what I can tell you is if you go into your bathroom and roll a couple of sheets off your toilet roll, I think that's pretty much the papers.
Right.
It's good to know, though, that we've got a working mic
Yes.
this week.
Problem solved.
Problem solved.
Until you jam the cord through another one. Should only be another couple of weeks, I would think.
For that shit. All right, before we do that, though, we'll do a quick whip round. Okay, because obviously when we're winging it, things seem to go a little bit quicker than they're expected to. So, what have you been watching?
What have I been watching?
Yes.
Well, I think it's pretty easy to guess based on our last episode.
Full moon features.
Well, specific full moon features. So we did Trances, obviously.
And you couldn't get enough, I heard.
I finished the series since the last time we spoke. So I did 1.5 and then 2 through 6.
Okay, talk me through them. 1.5.
1.5 was
Is it really just an extension of
It was just like a...
Just
basically
outtakes
just
or stuff that they...
No, just like a 25 minute movie, basically tacked onto the first one.
Okay.
Same characters. It's Tim Thomason, Helen Hunt, and the young girl that plays McNulty.
Yep.
So it was all right. It was pretty good. Trances 2 I also enjoyed. Again, similar people, just a bit of a rehash, but similar people in there, similar things going on.
It was like 6 years later or something.
Yeah, it was quite some time. Trances 3, you start to slip a little bit.
Okay.
3 through 5, well, 3 started to slip, 4 and 5 took even more of a dip, but they were enjoyable enough because there was a bit of an Army of Darkness. There was obviously a bit of an, Army of Darkness kind of feel to them.
Yeah.
Where he's back in... Honestly, there was some big issues because I couldn't tell whether it was back in the past or another dimension or whatever the fuck was going on, but it had that kind of feel to it that he was in castles and fucking sorcerers and all this sort of shit. It was Full Moon's Romanian period. So they were shot back to back with the same actors.
Right. The same castles as 5 others.
Well, I was sitting there going, that was in Subspecies. that said he was in Subspecies. I'm pretty sure that's Radu's castle. I'm pretty sure it's...
Yeah.
Part 6, absolute stinker. It was
recent.
Awful. No, it was like 2000. It was like 2002, I think, or maybe even a bit earlier.
Had we lost Thomason by then?
Shocker. Yes.
I mean, I think
they stitched together. They stitched together a conversation.
Is this like the Bruce Lee thing?
Yeah. They stitched together a conversation using shots of Thomason and dialogue of Thomason from the previous movies. So someone sit there going, Jack, I've got to bring you down the line. And you hear Thomason there going, shit. And it's like all stitched together from previous conversations, previous movies. Yeah. And then they have like a stand-in that they're shooting in shadow when he's laying on the slab that they, in the first one they put him on the slab and inject him and then he goes down the line or whatever. So it's a Thomason lookalike. They never show the face. It's just a bloke in that jacket.
Yeah.
But the girl, the lead actress, I think her name was Zette Sullivan or something like that, didn't do a lot of movies and it's not really that hard to see why because she was really bad.
And that's saying a lot as you get down.
The lead villain, this male lead villain who's in it quite briefly, probably worse. He was shocking. Not a shred of Karis armour to be seen anywhere.
Well, they don't have that in Romania.
No. Well, I think this one was back in America at this point. But yeah, it was
shit.
Well,
it was search for Karis armour for God's sake.
It was also really mixed up. It didn't have any of the look. It looked like someone had just walked out with a video camera and not done any lighting or anything like. Just fucking started shooting, which is possibly what happened. But story was all muddled, was boring, So Part 6 was an absolute shocker, but 1 through 3, good times.
On par with the Terminator.
Good fun. When we get to the Terminator 3 and 4, possibly.
Yeah. When we get to Genesis, we're in trouble. Yeah. What else did we get in?
The only other thing I watched, me and Maddie actually went to a bad movie bingo screening last night of Troll 2.
Nice.
So watched Troll 2 again, which was a good experience. It was one of those sort of out loud ones, so there was people shouting out the lines along with it and stuff like that, which was good fun. And then on the back of that, I jumped onto and had another look at Best Worst Movie.
Yeah.
Which is actually it's quite a good little doco.
Yeah.
Because it goes into it, but it also shows, the scenes of the director getting upset when all the actors are going, well, we didn't have scripts and stuff like that. The director's at the same thing in the audience sitting there going, you don't remember shit and all this sort of stuff. Like, he's really filthy and still goes from this angle of it's a really good movie. Whereas the George Hardy stuff, the guys was great to follow because he's just a bit goofy. He's fucking lovable.
Wasn't he like a dentist or something?
Yeah, he's a dentist, but he's goofy and lovable, and he's kind of the life of the party. And they show him going to conventions, and screenings, which he's loving at first, but at the end of it, he's at a horror convention. He's going, "Oh, this is sick. This stuff is awful. I've got to get out of here." And all this sort of shit. And he kind of tires of it. And there's another one where they take him to England and there's no one there for the Troll 2 stuff, and he's walking around, he's talking to the bloke from Dukes of Hazzard going, I was in a movie called Troll 2.
Oh, God.
And all this sort of stuff. So it's got this vibe of, it's great to see this guy kind of get this little moment in the sun.
But how? And then kind of wore him down.
Yeah, it sort of wears him down, but then they go to the end and they said, if they made another Troll movie, would you be in it? And without a fucking moment of hesitation, he's like, yes. I would absolutely do it again. It's actually a neat little look at the movie and kind of the fandom and stuff like the screenings that are still going on. So I actually really enjoy the doco.
Okay. Is that you?
That was it.
That was
everything.
Okay.
Really good slate there.
A good slate. Very good slate. Very good slate. You told me you didn't have time for Top Gun Maverick, but you had time for fucking Troll 2
I
and
didn't.
Trances, all the Trances.
I was on a resort, so I had access to streaming. I had access to all the full moon I could want, but I didn't have access to Maverick. I had one more.
What?
I watched The Matrix Resurrections on the plane back.
Matrix
Resurrections.
Oh, yeah, the new one.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. How was that?
It wasn't awful. I didn't love it. I probably wouldn't. I didn't see it in cinemas for this reason. I just found 2 and 3 were just... whatever people want to say, whatever the people involved in the movie want to say about how, we're not looking deep enough and we're too shallow as audiences, it just bored the shit out of me, both of them. They were lengthy and they were just boring. And that's a crime. Whether you're telling me it's deep or not, you've got to have me engaged.
Yeah.
So I might have missed something.
And also, fellas,
regardless,
you guys put together the original, which was deep and engaging.
Yes,
and
correct.
you somehow managed to fucking fluff it.
Yeah, I hate it when filmmakers come out and say, "Oh, you missed stuff." I'm like, yeah, I probably did. I probably do miss some of the subtext.
I guarantee you did.
But you've got to keep me engaged and wanting to fucking dig a little deeper. And Matrix 2 and 3, I can't stand them. So I wasn't overly pumped. Early on, the early going, it was all right, but it was 2.5 hours.
Oh.
And it gets into a lot of outside the Matrix again. We spend a bit of time outside the Matrix with some of the characters, and I didn't enjoy that stuff as much.
Yeah. How's Keanu, though?
Keanu's
usual,
good, as always. Him and Carrie-Anne Moss are very enjoyable. Mostly, I thought the cast was good. Jessica Henwick, I'm a big fan of her, so I thought it was great to see her in there getting a big role. But I don't know.
I think the time is gone with the Matrix.
I don't know if I can say
like the Terminator. These franchises have met their end.
Yeah, and it was forming this whole thing about, they're talking about how they're it's a lot of meta stuff about bringing back the Matrix series. They're doing it in the movie, and initially it's quite interesting, but as it continues to go along, again, my interest in it just kept petering out.
Yeah.
So I couldn't say rush out and watch it.
I won't be.
Okay.
Because, I was scarred by the two sequels. Because the first one is such a good movie.
Yeah.
And it feels a bit like the original Matrix was kind of time and place.
Yeah.
It hit at the perfect time.
Yep.
And it delivered. And then the sequels just took it too far. And as I said, I think these things run out of steam. And I know people would argue, well, what about Top Gun Maverick? It's the total opposite. Yeah, but that's, that's not a franchise. It was a single film that got a sequel.
Yeah. I just felt like this one did feel like, and they were making commentaries of it in the movie, but this one really did feel like, to me, it was just dusted off to cash in.
Yeah.
And I know they're talking about it in the movie, they're trying to make the commentary.
Especially with Keanu kind of coming back into the spotlight.
Yeah, and some of that worked. Some of it did work, but as I said, the interest level just waned.
Yeah.
And it was similar. I found similar issues to the previous two. Not on that scale.
No.
But I did find similar issues where I was struggling to find something to latch onto and remain interested in.
Okay. I went for some slightly different fare initially. We got a little bit nostalgic and we watched Field of Dreams. Young Ray Liotta, obviously with his recent Puffy. I kind of love that movie. I hadn't seen it in ages. It's really, really good. We then followed that up with, I don't know why, but this was my wife's choice. And I actually don't remember seeing this. It was Forever Young. With Pre-Sugar Tits, Mel Gibson. And I believe it was directed by Steve Miner. Friday the 13th alum.
It was,
Steve Miner. Not bad. Jamie Lee Curtis is also in it. Not bad. I saw Hustle, the new Adam Sandler basketball movie.
Mm-hmm.
Really good.
Meaning to check that out.
Really good. This is where Sandler needs to stay. He can do dramatic parts with a little bit of comedy. That's where he should be. And Uncut Gems was another example of that. He was really good in Uncut Gems. And I think this is where he should stay now and steer clear of playing sort of socially awkward idiots and things like Hubie Halloween and co. Because I think that sort of might have run its course.
Yeah.
For him. I found a slasher movie on Tubi that I hadn't seen in a long time called Hide and Go Shriek. Strangely enough, it's not in the bracket. It's not in this bracket.
Can't slot it in as a wild card, a play-in tournament.
I can't get it in the play-in tournament. It's not a very good film, unfortunately. But it's there on Tubi if you ever want to watch it.
Yeah.
I see that's
stumble into it when I've exhausted the full moon section.
Catalogue. Take a while. And the last one for me was a Netflix film that came on only about a week ago called See For Me.
Mm-hmm.
And initially I didn't know what it was, but I sort of caught a snippet of it when I sort of hovered over it. It looked okay. And it was 90 minutes long, and me and the wife just said, all right, well, it's a thriller, we'll give it a go. And the initial premise is kind of silly. It's basically this girl is blind and she's sort of house-sitting, or cat-sitting for a lady who owns a fairly palatial home out in the far enough away so the police can't get there in time.
Yeah.
And what she uses is she always uses her... When she gets to these places, she calls a friend of hers and they use FaceTime, and he helps her walk around the house.
Yep.
Get the feel for it. But they have a bit of a falling out, and it's an interesting little plot point. I won't sort of mention it here, but they have a bit of a falling out, and so she locks herself out of the house, and she uses an app that her mum had given her called See For Me. And what it is you press on it, and you basically get put through to somebody who becomes your eyes if you want it. And she gets paired with this ex-military veteran, and then that night 3 blokes try and break into the house to rob the joint. They don't realise she's there, and so what she does is rings the See For Me girl and starts going, you need to help me. And once that happens and things start to ramp up, the movie's fucking awesome. Like, it's a really cool premise, and it really works well, the way they have that kind of her acting as her eyes, and it was really, really good. Surprised the shit out of me. I didn't expect much from it at all. So check that one out.
I will.
I can just say this right now. I'm not hiring blind fucking house sitters if I ever go away. Because that seems like a strange thing to do.
Okay. It's funny though, like those are legit. Those apps and things are legit things that
it's a really cool
now. So it's
a really cool premise to sort of work with.
Yeah.
And as I said, taking away the fact that And I thought, and as I said to my wife, I felt it would have been better that she was doing the house sitting with like a carer or a friend, and then when the break-in happens, the friend is killed or whatever, and she's on her own. That would have felt more legitimate. But overall, I kind of let that go. I let the initial sort of premise go and just went with it, and it's really good. All right, that's everything from me too.
Excellent.
Let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and we'll start getting into the slasher movie playoff bracket, Jared. Back in a sec. The slasher movie playoffs, Jared. I've broken it down into conferences. It's the top 24. Okay. We're going to whittle it down. We're going to start on the Western Conference side. Okay. So basically we're going to whittle them down to the top sort of 3. And same with the Eastern Conference. And then what we'll do is we'll put them into the finals. Okay. And that can be a separate episode. Might have to dig a little bit deeper into that one because that's where the cream of the crop's at. All right, the first playoff bracket. An interesting pairing, Jared. The Burning against the Prowler. Thoughts? Talk to me.
Oh, this is a tough one.
Yeah,
I haven't seen the Prowler in a few years, to be honest. My inclination is to go for the Burning because of the effects, for one. And I think, regardless of... I mean, the both of the killers are sort of quite solid. Quite solid outfits, quite memorable kind of looks to them. But Cropsy's got a sort of cultural element to it that it goes beyond that movie. It's not just...
Yeah, that whole Cropsy legend is something that's been around for years.
Yeah, and I also enjoy... I mean, it's hard to get over the George Costanza getting around summer camp in a pair of tight shorts and
a full head of hair. Okay, let me counter. I'm going to just give you a slight counter. I'm not going to... I mean, I think we obviously both throw our hands up with a vote, but I think the Prowler's got better effect. That's my opinion, and more brutal. I mean, that fucking bayonet through that guy's scone is fucking unbelievable.
They're both quite good.
Yes.
They're both quite good. So I would probably give the Prowler points for that as well.
What?
I also like, sorry to cut in, but I also like the time jump elements of the Prowler.
And I also like the whole, he's wearing that kind of gas mask sort of face, and he says to her, be my rose or whatever, and it's creepy shit, but...
Would have worked better if he had poems. Poetry would work better.
It'll happen thrice. Yeah, true. No. You know what the problem is with the Prowler, and this is why I'm going to give this particular 5-game series to the Burning, is the Prowler loses steam at the end and then has that ridiculous shit about that guy who's been bayoneted and he's been hanging in the shower for fucking 2 days. And he suddenly comes to life with no fucking explanation, if I remember correctly, as to what that was.
Yeah, that could be seen as you would give points for that.
That means you've got a very short bench.
So you're saying this is a five-game series, a gentleman's sweep.
This is definitely going all the way to 5. It's a 5-gamer.
5-gamer. So are we best of 7s or are we best?
Oh no, okay. So we're best of 7. This is going 7 games. This is going 7 games.
6 tops.
6. I think it's going 7, and that's where a guy coming to life 2 days later. That's what cost you the game.
Yeah, that's a 2 for 18 effort. in the game
you have shot like a busted fucking ass in that game, and also the Prowler's got a shorter bench.
Yeah,
the Burning can rely on George Costanza, Fisher Stevens, and co.
Yeah.
Better shooting guard rotation.
Does I keep forgetting his name, old mate that keeps pestering women in the Burn.
Fucking Glazer.
Does he get a fucking suspension or something?
Oh yeah, he's like Charles Oakley throwing elbows and shit. So look, the Burning gets the dosh there.
Yeah, I think I would have to agree.
Okay, hang on. We have a pen or something? I need to keep track of this. I didn't bring any notes.
Honestly, what are we doing here?
I turn up. I require certain things. Okay, so the Burning gets it done in 7 over the Prowler and moves into the next round. Sorry, I have all the required accoutrements to continue.
Just reforming your notes there?
Yeah, of course. Okay, this is a bit of a...
this is a fucking chewing gum and chicken wire operation.
Yeah. Second set of this, the Western Conference Playoffs, Friday the 13th, Part 6 versus April Fool's Day. I think this is a 4-game sweep.
Yeah, for me it is.
4-game sweep. Friday the 13th, Part 6 is just great fun.
April Fool's Day has its moments, but I think it's reliant on a twist that is excellent, and it's worthwhile. It's something different. Still stands out as pretty unique in the genre, but Friday the 13th Part 6 has iconic slasher, well directed, well written, some humour, some good kills. It's a sweep. It's a 4-game.
Easy 4-game sweep. Blew him out of the park with 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Look, April Fool's Day is still very watchable and worth watching, and I really enjoy it, but totally different ball game. Totally different class level there.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next one. Prom Night from 81. Prom Night versus My Bloody Valentine from 81.
I'm interested to hear your feelings on this one.
4-game sweep. 4-game sweep with ease. Yeah. I mean, Prom Night... Look, Prom Night has its... I'm not going to even say it has its moments. It's kind of a little bit cheap, Jack, Prom Night. Yep. But it does have a young Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yep.
And it does have a couple of sequences near the end that I think are really well done.
Yeah.
It also has one of the most grotesque dancing scenes ever.
Yeah.
Committed to celluloid.
That's what I was going to say. That's the only thing that My Bloody Valentine is missing, a fucking 10-minute dance sequence and Paul Zaza's fucking Prom Night. Whatever
everything is alright. Alright, but then up against My Bloody Valentine, which has an iconic killer, those awesome Rose the Red, Violets the Blue type of things.
The sheriff.
The sheriff.
And the mayor.
Gosh. Yeah, over the top acting.
Yes.
Some fantastic kills, and we're talking the uncut version here, but some fantastic kills in it. Just some really good stuff. Bloody Valentine's one of those dark horses here for me. Like, it's a real quality act.
Yeah.
So
Paul Zaza did the music for both of them, didn't he? But unfortunately, My Bloody Valentine didn't have that particular tune for 10 minutes of our runtime.
they were pulling together.
So that was a short run. That was a 10-minute run where they've closed the gap, but ultimately lost the game anyway. So it's a four gamer
easily. So far into the next bracket, we've got The Burning, Friday 6, and Bloody Valentine.
Fair.
Next film on the agenda. Now, this one's an interesting one because it's an 80s slasher against a new one. Friday the 13th, Part 4, against Happy Death Day. This is I'm going to say this is a 7-game. This is two really good teams duking it out.
Happy Death Day is the scrappy underdog.
Correct. But it's got the MVP, because it's got that plot hook that is so cool.
Yeah.
That it kind of it's hard to go past it.
Yeah, and it ultimately does really well with the idea. Yeah, I would probably. I've got to go to Friday Part 4. we've spoken before that Friday Part 4 is the first one, and probably, even though I like Part 6 better, Part 4 is probably the one that puts it all together. It's the most complete package of what you expect in a summer camp / the genre that Friday put together. The added bonus of, I think, the child protagonist works really well, and it's a kind of avatar for young horror fans and shit like that. So,
yeah.
I mean, it's got the whole package. And Happy Death Day, I really love that one. And it probably would have beaten... I mean, if that goes against Prom Night, it's walking through to the second round.
Correct.
Unfortunately, it's drawn one of the better slashes from the big three, I think.
I would suggest it's a buzzer-beating Game 7.
It's tight.
And it's Friday 4. And you know what the deciding factor for me is? The gore. Part 4's special effects are fucking awesome. Still, today, like, you can watch it again and just go, Jesus Christ. You know, Happy Death Day is a PG-rated slasher.
Yeah.
So it's sort of dulled down on that front. But it's a really good film, and you're right. In a lot of the other brackets, it would have walked through. So Friday 4 gets the numbers, gets the
chocolates.
Chocolates there, yep. Next one on the agenda. Ooh, this one is a romp, but it is a romp.
Yeah.
It is 1996's Scream against Silent Night, Deadly Night.
Yeah, it's
no conflict.
They barely turned up.
Yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night. The fucking bus broke down on the way to the Coliseum.
Yeah.
And,
look, I found more things to like about that movie as time goes on, and I do kind of chuck it on every Christmas season now, have another look at it for a bit of a giggle. But I mean, it's a walk in the park.
Yeah, Scream is an iconic slasher, a top notch.
Scream's got all the stuff that you could want from those sort of things, but it's also clever. It was
funny, well written.
Impact on the genre as a whole. Like, it's
Silent Night, Deadly Night. Shits and giggles. I'm for part 2.
Yeah, part 2's got all the best parts of part 1 and garbage stuff.
Yeah, well, one of the worst performances in horror movie history. But the problem with Silent Night, Deadly Night is that, like a lot of those sort of lower tier ones, it kind of courted a bit of controversy to make it interesting. It's not a particularly well written or directed film. It's
at the end of the day,
cheap jack sort of stuff again.
It's right in the box of the exploitation elements of the genre. It's trying to find a hook that would court the controversy. It's then just filling the screen with fucking stupidity. There's just splatter. And as I said, I found a few more things to like about it. I find the angle of the whole nuns and that sort of shit brings some amusing elements about commentary on about religions kind of partying Christmas and all this sort of shit.
Look, but if you want to see Santa Claus get fucking whooped by a fucking small child, Silent Night, Deadly Night,
the movie for you.
Silent Night, Deadly Night's the movie for you.
But yeah, given that I've got a fucking ghost face tattoo on my arm, I think it's pretty clear.
It's a fair assessment that we've moved on with Scream.
Yeah.
It's an easy win.
Easy.
Scream, you barely got out of your starting 5. Like, those guys did the job.
Oh, they didn't break a sweat before the bench came on for mop-up duty. The bench was on by the end of by mid-third quarter, the bench was emptied.
Now, to finish out the Western Conference, we've got an interesting one, and one that I think is also quite tight. Terror Train from 81 against Halloween 4.
Yeah, I don't find this one as tight.
So you're saying it's a fucking romp? Getting it done in 6?
No, it's probably a 5 or 6 gamer, but it's decided for me on the balance that this particular slasher, Michael Myers, is one of my favourite.
Yeah.
And I think this was, although it is not within we don't want to go talking about comparing it to other movies yet, but it's one of the better sequels without being an absolute cracker. It just picks out things from the original that were done well and tries to emulate them, but it does so in a pretty reasonable fashion. Yeah, for the most part. It's got
a super hammy Donald Pleasance.
It's got a super hammy Donald Pleasance. It's got, the parts that I didn't like, again, the part that I didn't like with the preacher, I've been turned around on that. Joe Bob's
Joe Bob's
kind of 10-minute breakdown of that just completely turned me around on that scene. But it also has shit, Earl.
Ted Hollister.
I get a laugh out of it
every time.
It's got Danielle Harris.
Yes.
Who is, in that particular movie. Again, I sort of found that worked really well, the child protagonist and the relationship with the stepsister and all that sort of stuff. So, or the adopted sister and whatever. I can't even remember now, but it's Halloween 4 for me.
Oh, yeah.
Comfortably.
Yeah, look, Terror Train's got some things I like. I love the train, the idea of being on the train.
Yes.
I love the killer that changes costumes.
Yep.
And, again, Jamie Lee Curtis was still churning these things out.
Yeah.
And they were still all right. Like, of all the ones she did back then, I think Prom Night's probably her lowest tier.
Yeah.
But Terror Train's got moments.
Pretty good.
It's got moments. It's pretty well directed.
And the whole idea of the changing the costume sort of thing is a good one.
Hide and Go Shriek had that too, but the thing was he was dressing up as a woman too. Things were getting a little bit ahead there. But
right.
I think you're right. I think Halloween 4 does the job. I really enjoy Halloween 4, and I think part of it is that it takes that concept and that Halloween template, and it does it pretty damn well, I think, by the end of it. And we've had this conversation before. There's some people who don't like it at all. They find it really boring.
Yep.
Totally opposite there.
But I can see parts of that. Like, I can understand it. Yeah, I mean, there's an argument to be made that it's a little bit uninspired. The idea of just copying what worked for the first one. But that's the slasher genre in a nutshell, and I think that it's if you're doing it successfully, then you earn a few points for that.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so through the first round on the Western Conference side, The Burning, Friday 6, My Bloody Valentine, Friday 4, Scream, and Halloween 4. Over to the Eastern Conference, first round, straight out of the gate, 1978's Halloween versus Madman.
I mean, shit. Do we need to say anything?
Well, I like the use of blue lighting that Sorry, fuck. All right, Halloween shit's all over. Halloween plays its bench players for the whole match. Still with me.
See, this is why these things don't go as long as planned, because we end up matching Halloween against Madman. I haven't got much to say about
I didn't have my notes. What do you want me to do? Yeah, okay, look.
How do you expect to get more than 10 seconds out of me on that one?
Madman has got nothing to offer.
Look, there's not a lot of these movies. I mean, even Madman, I hesitate to say that I dislike it, but I'm fucking baffled by the longevity.
Yeah, I know. And the fact that they're talking about a sequel, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. I'll watch the sequel.
Oh, of course. What do you take me for?
I mean, I've seen Madman. I've seen Madman.
I've seen about 10 times.
Yeah, I think I'm up to 4 or 5 at least. And every time I think, why did I watch it again? Because I just didn't find anything more. I mean, I think I've stated that if I'm looking to find something positive, if I'm looking silver linings, I don't mind the way that Madman Mars looks.
Do you? He looks fucking ridiculous. He looks ridiculous. And those fucking hobbit feet that he seems to have.
Yeah, but I could go with that. I mean, if I saw a bloke with hobbit feet out in the wild, I'd be scared.
Yeah, look, the problem with Madman, and fuck, okay, we're getting off track here. The simple fact is, everybody, Halloween 54, fucking roll straight through.
I mean, it's historic numbers. It's a 4-game blowout every game by about 50 points.
I mean, this is a fucking training run for Halloween.
Yeah.
But what happens with Madman is the genuine scariness you could have had there, because what I think they did, because they were a cheap sort of film, it has that kind of grainier, less polished look, which out in those nighttime areas in the forest could have worked well. But they just drench it in that blue bullshit and fucking... And then Madman, every time we see him, he goes...
Well, I was just about to say, I think Halloween would be a significantly worse picture if every time you saw through a window, you'd hear...
I'm still trying to work out what that hot tub sequence where they're doing circles and then after some sexy music and then Madman Mar's going...
Yeah. And not once does somebody go, what the fuck is that noise? What noise? I mean, there's something outside the window.
Is that your stomach or is it a fucking deranged hillbilly? My money's on the hillbilly, for fuck's sake. Yeah, Madman's got problems.
He's got a few problems.
Madman's playing with a college team.
Yeah.
Like it's a college team who are doing a 10-state tune-up tournament before. The
we were short of numbers. We need an extra team. There's a college team down the road. Should we rope him in? Yeah, give him a call.
Who should we put him against? Oh, the fucking best team in the comp.
Yeah, against the team that went 82-0 in the regular season. We'll chuck him against them.
Okay, so Halloween straight through.
That was a longer conversation than I expected for that one.
I guess when you're talking about Madman, you can drag it out a little bit. Okay, this one's an interesting one. It's a 90s a 90s showdown.
Mm.
Urban Legend against I Know What You Did Last Summer. I'm going to say that Urban Legend gets it done. Gets it done in 5 for me because my recollections of rewatching Knowing What You Did Last Summer were horrendous. I really fell back on that quite badly. I didn't like it at all.
Yeah. Well, this is an interesting one because I think Urban Legend, last time we watched it, was better than I'd given it credit for. And I Know What You Did Last Summer, I think roundly, even though I wasn't as down on it as you were, I think we roundly acknowledged that it wasn't that good.
No, we roundly acknowledged that there were some fucking ridiculous parts of it.
Yeah.
And yes, it was not that good.
Okay, so out of the blocks, both really good premises.
Yes.
Two of the better hooks for horror movies.
Yep.
I feel like Urban Legends, I still look at that as a real missed chance. Because I felt like some of the legends that they had on offer to use, they didn't use. Some of the ones that they did use weren't used as well as they could have.
No, and they weren't used properly.
Yeah.
I will give the opening one a lot of credit. I think that one's fantastic. The whole, there's someone in the back seat.
Mm-hmm.
I think that really works well. Although, Brad DeRiff is stuttering fucking idiot. Loosen your tongue up.
Write a note.
Yeah.
You could have written it.
There is someone in the back seat.
Yeah, I
hands it over with the fucking bill. And quite, Jared, I went to a service station just on the way over here and it was fucking brightly lit.
Yeah.
And it had a convenience store in it.
Yeah, install a couple of lights.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a big downer for Urban Legend for me. Also, Robert Englund is not
Can I help you with anything?
I mean, you talk about
fucking hamming it up.
You often talk about ham. This is a fucking large. You've bought the whole leg with this one.
It's a full pig on a spit sort of thing.
Yeah. I think the killer in I Know What You Did Last Summer looks better.
Yeah.
And I think it still does have some really good scenes in it. I think probably not the crabs in the boot.
And the fucking quick clean artist in 5 minutes after it's been there. I mean, fucking
David Copperfield couldn't pull that off.
I don't know about you, but I'm trying to pull the crabs out and they're all attached to me, I guarantee it. Shit!
Ridiculous.
And a witness tells the cops, I saw this bloke in a black trench coat running off with some crabs attached to him.
I think that it ultimately doesn't do the best with the premise. Again,
no, it actually
botches the ending. It's too kind of down the line. Although, as we said, we both read the book, and the book's not.
It's not easy to write about in that regard.
I mean, you can see the book coming a fucking mile.
Yeah, but the book at least keeps it in the group.
Yeah.
And
the book doesn't have anything like, I got a letter. It actually deals with that character a little better.
Yes. The book is a little better fleshed out.
Yeah.
But the reason why I go with Urban Legend is, A, it's a better cast than I remember it.
Yep.
Jared Leto, Josh Jackson, Michael Rosenbaum,
yep.
Daniel Harris. Robert Eklund. Should I? Perhaps I should.
Stop.
Stop there. Stop at Danielle Harris.
Brad Dourif. Career best.
Yeah, but it's a very deep cast, and I just think it has a bit more fun.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it does.
Tara Reid's in that too.
And it does have a few more scenes that are a little better than I recall. I mean, they're both very up and down in that regard. Like, I still think the kind of chase with Sarah Michelle Gellar
is good.
I Know What You Did Last Time was pretty good. I mean, I revel in fucking Ryan Felipe's douchebaggery.
Yeah, true. You do revel in that douchebaggery.
But I think, look, controversial, but you're probably right. I think
gets it done in 6.
Probably better.
6 games.
Probably better. Which is tough to say. But you probably
you did last summer. Grabs a couple of games back at home, but it doesn't get the job done. Yeah,
fair enough.
All right, so Urban Legend in. Okay, the next one, the original Friday the 13th against Friday the 13th, Part 5. I don't know why I picked Part 5 here. Maybe it's because I felt it was a dark horse, a smoky, chock full of fucking 400 kills.
Well, it's probably good that you used to be wrong, because you'd be wrong here too.
Oh yeah, look, no doubt. Part 5, I don't like at all.
What the fuck's it doing here?
Okay, I'm going to be open and honest. This was a typo.
We've got a team in the fucking playoffs. It's not supposed to be there. It's a typo.
As I said, I lost my notes. I think it was meant to be Part 2. But unfortunately...
Can we fucking lodge a protest and get number 2 reinstated?
No, Part 5 is in.
Part 5 should be anywhere near this. Oh,
do you want to launch a protest and put Part 2 in there?
You don't have any other Friday the 13th.
I know.
But you put the one in that I think we pretty much decided.
I think I may have said was the worst one in the series.
What are you doing?
Honestly, God only knows what I'm doing. I don't know. All right, let's say that there's a protest and Part 2's coming. There's Part 2's coming. Come on, let's go. Part 1.
Well, that's a more interesting discussion. At least we've got things to talk about.
Part 1 versus Part 2.
Shit.
Talk to me. Whew. I reckon she's a 7-game series.
Yeah. There was a stretch where I was a little down on the first one. I think when we saw it at the cinema, I started to shift back more towards the positives of it.
Yeah.
Large slice of bacon.
Good slice of bacon, yeah.
I think it's, again, the kills, lives and dies by that, does a good job with them. I still don't love the aspect of that you don't really get the opportunity to pick who it is without throwing out fucking theories that are just, making up characters that you haven't seen yet. But when Mrs. Voorhees does show up on the scene, I love all that sort of shit. So, yeah, it's a difficult one, because I think Part 2 overall is a better movie.
Yes.
Better final girl.
Yes.
More tightly written in terms of you've actually got a couple of characters that have fucking relationships with each other, other than Steve Christie and his shorts.
You know that Steve Christie slept with every woman out that fucking camp. So, no, I'm giving the money to number 2. And the reason why I say that is exactly what you just said. It's a little better written. It's Jason.
Yeah.
So we get Jason for the first time. It's a little better paced and better directed, I think.
Yeah.
I love the idea of Ginny and, the child psychology angle that she was studying, and the way that she deals with Jason when she finally comes face to face with him. It's one of the better sort of, they kind of really duke it out, which I like. And Ginny is probably right up there as one of the best, if not the best, final girl in the Friday series.
Yes. I've also come around to the look of Sackhead Jason. I actually think, I'm quite positive on Sackhead Jason.
One negative, rat piss.
Yeah.
But the rat piss sequence is a strange situation. The rat
There's probably a couple of negatives. But,
unless there was a horde of rats. It was she pissed them.
Yeah, there's probably a couple of negatives. I would say the pranksters in both of them. Just fucking stop the pair of you, please.
Scott, walking around with a fucking slingshot. You asshole.
Yeah, it's a tough one. It's a very tough one for me, but I think I'd have to go for 2, basically, because of what we just said. I think it's just a tighter package.
Sorry, let me just reiterate. You said you gave a part 5.
Sorry, typo. I did say part 5 is the best in the series. I mean, seriously, what the fuck are you doing here? We are just...
Are you saying that we come across as unprofessional and fucking lacking in knowledge?
I am, yeah, basically.
Okay, fair.
I'm saying that, the basic preparation required.
Don't worry about that. I don't prepare, Jared.
We talk about the slasher movie playoffs. I should have looked at this and thought, hang on, what's that doing in here? But, of course... we didn't have any notes. So
it was good to see that you fucking checked thoroughly as to what was happening.
Well, I'm glad we rectified it before we moved on any further, because otherwise the winning participant would have been fucking... would have been brushed on a technicality.
Yeah, true.
Imagine part 2... Imagine them getting the communication about the league playoffs. What?
Part 5? We went 62 and 20.
I'm 30 games ahead of those bozos.
Okay, next round. Scream 2 versus House on Sorority Row. I think that's a pretty much... Yeah, it's a fait accompli there.
Yeah, look, Scream 2 probably could do with a house band that shows up for about 40% of the runtime.
3 out of 4 doctors should definitely be in Scream 2.
Yeah, I think House on Sorority Row is a good time. So,
look,
again...
they stole a game off Scream 2.
Yeah, look... We're still talking about things that happened in that movie, and we haven't fucking figured out that. We haven't figured out whether there was 2 killers. So that's probably you're losing games there.
You keep switching from fucking boxing 1 to the zone D without discussion.
Yeah, your starting lineup keeps changing, and you haven't communicated it to the league. We don't know what's going on.
Yeah. So Scream 2 gets it done, but Sorority Row's scrappy. It's the kind of film that grabs a game or 2 off Scream 2.
Yeah. Before you go on, can I just check that we're actually talking about House on Sorority Row? We're not talking about Sorority Row.
No,
we haven't made any more...
Because Sorority Row would grab some more games.
Yeah,
it wouldn't win it, but it would go closer than... Scream 2, I don't know, I've said this before, I think the early going is excellent. I think it loses steam, and I think the film is not as good as everyone seems to think.
Yeah.
It's my personal opinion. It doesn't hold up.
Well, I think it's still pretty good. It's a pretty good movie, and it's probably in a different league to House on Sorority Row.
Scream 2 is more in the the top tier. Yeah, the top tier sort of stuff. Sorority Row's a scrappy battler, but it's not getting that job done.
Yeah.
Okay, on to the next one. This is the Battle of the Oldies.
Yeah.
Battle of the the veterans. Texas Chainsaw Massacre v Black Christmas from 1974. And Texas Chainsaw Massacre from 1978.
Look, I think we've made a slight... We've got a situation here in the first round where two real contenders are going head-to-head. Now, I haven't seen Black Christmas in a few years. I do have the special edition Blu-ray just sitting there waiting to be stuck into the DVD player to have another look, but these two are probably 2 that could both make some real noise, but they've ended up in the same bracket.
Up against each other.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, again, a bit like on the other side of the bracket between Friday 4 and Happy Death Day, it's tight all the way, but I think Chainsaw Massacre gets it.
Yeah, look.
Leatherface is a bit more iconic. The raw sort of grittiness of Chainsaw Massacre out in the sticks of Texas.
Yep.
A lot of that shit works.
Yep.
And Leatherface, the first couple of times we see him, it's genuinely scary.
Yep.
And it still is.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Black Christmas has got its real moments. Like, it's got some creepy shit in it as well. Some of those phone calls that are made and a couple of the deaths are really cool.
Yep.
And the ending is cool. You know, it started that kind of, that trend of, you know, the killers come, we've traced the calls coming from inside the house. It started all that. So it's got a lot to like. And it's a bit disappointing that the two of them had to come head to head, but, you know, that's the playoffs for you.
Yeah. I think I have to give the nod to Texas Chainsaw as well, only because, look, I'm a sucker for a slasher that shows up in 8 more movies or 9 more movies. But I think you're right. It's something you're not going to get in other ones. Black Christmas might have sort of laid the platform for some of them, but then you get it. And in my opinion, although there is, you know, some discussion around this, but in my opinion, you get it better in Halloween.
Yeah.
Regardless of who Johnny Carpenter was pinching ideas off.
Yeah.
Things like that. But
anyone who walked past.
But so I think it's, Texas Chainsaw Massacre it keeps growing on me. Every time I watch it, it just grows on me a little more. It's really disorientating and it puts you in a space where you're really uncomfortable.
Yeah. With
all facets of it. The fucking characters, the way they're acting, the look of Leatherface, the music, the cinematography and the kind of grainy look and the colours that they use. I think it's got the nod in the end. Yeah. As you said, you pointed out some good stuff about Black Christmas, but I think those two things, that you do get it better down the track and that Texas Chainsaw's got those unique elements to it, I think it's going to get the nod.
Gets the nod, definitely. Okay, the last bracket here, Hell Night from 1981 up against Halloween H2O. Again, I think Hell Night's a little bit like Sorority Row, a scrappy sort of fighter.
Yep.
And I think in this case takes 2 games off H2O.
Yeah.
Goes to 6. But H2O's a polished, kind of like Halloween 4, a polished, well sort of handled reboot of Michael Myers.
Yeah, neat little comeback.
Yeah. And the fact that Jamie Lee comes back for the first time since part 2, and the whole thing about her sort of being damaged, I kind of dig that. And interestingly enough, and I think we talked about this, is I think H2O does a better job of the damaged Laurie Strode than 2018 does.
Yeah.
I think there are parts of H2O that work better.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's things I enjoy about both of them, but yeah, H2O, it's got a pretty high place in my kind of nostalgia lists as well. Hell Night impressed me when we watched it. I really enjoyed it. Has a really cool setting. The idea, again, of the sort of sorority hazing idea.
The 2 killers.
Although,
I believe there's 2 killers in that.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about the chat about what they're putting together for the. I mean, just lower the hazing down a little bit.
As I said, shit in the bag, set it on fire, and fucking move on.
Nudie run across the football field or something like that. I mean,
take you out, drop you off, make you run nude up to Macca's. That was a standard when I was playing footy. I put a few families off their tucker one time coming. Running into Goldman Macca's.
Yeah, I'll have a Big Mac. Oh, no, sorry.
I'll have one of those fucking junior burgers. Speaking of junior burgers, there he goes.
Junior burger minus a pickle.
yeah, give me a half pickle. H2O easily gets it done, but Hell Night is a quality older slasher. I really do actually like it. And Hell Night and Sorority Row are both films that impressed me a lot more than I remember them.
Yep.
Other than 2 out of 3 Doctors. You guys can fuck right off. we paid you, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, so the Eastern Conference, this is who we've got left. Halloween, Urban Legend, Friday 2, Scream 2, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and H2O, Halloween H2O. So we're back over to the Western Conference into the second round of the playoffs.
Well, before we get to the second round, just a little bit of chat.
On the side?
Yes. I have noticed that you brushed Elm Street.
I did brush Elm Street.
Discussion. Why did we brush
I think
Elm
I
Street?
brushed Elm Street for the supernatural element.
Right.
I actually thought of putting Elm Street in. It was a typo. I put in Friday 5. That was supposed to be Elm Street.
Fucking yeah. Prom night. Oh, sorry. That was... Madman.
I brushed Elm Street because it's supernatural.
Okay.
Even though I consider it a slasher, and I do consider it a slasher, I just felt that all the other slashers here in this bracket are all flesh and blood sort of killers, and they don't rely on supernatural angle.
Yeah. So
I decided, well, I can't really put Elm Street in there because it's kind of on its own. It's, we're playing basketball, Elm Street's playing fucking bocce ball. It's a different type of game.
Yeah, there's similar elements.
We're playing AFL, they're playing fucking Super Rules.
It's Gaelic football. Was there any sort of fringe? Was there any that were sort of here?
Look, I had a couple there that you would have been fucking livid about. I had some of the things like Sleepaway Camp and some of that kind of...
Well, I would put Sleepaway Camp in here any day of the week before I put Mad Men. For one.
Look, again... Fuck,
any others you can throw at me?
I had a couple other Fridays in there.
Yeah, right.
Friday 8 and some shit like that.
Yeah.
Which wouldn't have gone out of the first... That stuff wouldn't have gone out of the first round.
Sleepaway Camp, same. If it was in the place of Mad Men,
we got
same thing, but it's a far better film.
Yeah, and it does genuinely. The ending of Sleepaway Camp is genuinely haunting when they show her standing with his head, and she's obviously got an old fella.
Oh man, we can always trust you to have a delicate conversation about these topics.
Okay, that wasn't politically correct. Jesus.
Oh, seriously. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
okay, let's move on to the second round before I get myself into trouble. Okay.
I mean, any time I need a nuanced chat about these.
Yeah. The nuanced chat to the frightening ending of Sleepaway Camp. I will always begin my part of it with he's got an old fella.
Oh my god. Yep.
No.
Second round. What have we got?
Second round. Alright, let's get serious. I'm on to the second round. Second round, the Western Conference, The Burning up against Friday the 13th, Part 6. Friday 6 gets the money.
Yeah.
It's a little tighter than the previous round, which was April Fool's.
Yes.
Which I said was a sweep. The Burning the Friday gets it done in 6 and is stretched a little bit there.
I would say 5.
Gets it done in 5.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Friday 6.
Friday 6 is excellent. One thing the Burning's got that Friday 6 doesn't is the special effects.
And George Costanza.
And Costanza, yeah. Who's asking for fucking lubricated rubbers.
I mean, I still...
No, sorry, Glazer's asking for lubricated rubbers.
I'm still waiting for a Costanza cut where, Cropsy kills someone, you see the fucking blood spurting everyone. Here comes Costanza. We're living in a society! Starts carrying on.
Yeah.
That's what's missing.
I'm rubbing 2 sticks together. Yeah, shit like that. Exactly. I want to see that cut too. But without that cut, 6 gets it done. Friday 6 is good fun too. I think that's
I
part
like
of
Friday
it.
6.
What I think people forget about Friday 6 is that it's good fun, it's funny, it's not particularly scary, but Tom McLaughlin understood that Jason couldn't be scary anymore.
But that's the thing. You get all of that you require. You get the gore and the kills. But, as we've kind of said before, by that time it was a fucking fool's errand to try to make Jason, to try to buy that he's just going to get up again and continue on.
Yeah.
So he kind of went like a little bit of Frankenstein, a little bit of classic monster, and the humour, for me, it worked a treat. It was just an injection of a little bit of fun and a little bit of life into the series that was fucking coming off part 5.
Yeah, which was also in the bracket. Sorry.
Yeah. I mean, can we go back to that? Maybe I could be turned around on part 5 if we talk about Demon enough.
No, I could be turned around on part 5 if you're giving me the bloke, and then having his fucking head pummeled with an axe. And he's snorting coke and shit. I mean,
I believe he was coked up in real life too, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I believe he said he wasn't.
Oh,
bullshit. He said that everyone.
Exhibit A. I think the director just asked you to casually drive in and say, "You ready to go?"
Lana, are you ready to go? You, of course, went action. Charged in going, Lana! And I believe he was sort of. I believe he says in the documentary that A, he wasn't on cocaine, everyone else was.
Likely story.
Yeah. Put everyone under the bus, why don't you?
Yeah, right. Okay.
But secondly, he said, I ad-libbed all that shit in the car.
Yeah, because you were fucking... Yeah, sorry.
I mean, to give Daddy Steinman some credit, he was probably there going, do what's on the page.
Yeah.
Going,
I ad-libbed it because I was fucking laser focused. That's right. I was just...
In that entire period where we shot that, I wrote 3 scripts and set up my next 4 jobs.
Yeah.
So Friday 6 gets the money there and he's into the conference final. I think we'd say.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yep.
Okay, next one's Bloody Valentine versus Friday 4. Now, this is a real fucking battle of the big boys.
This is a fucking barn burner. Sorry, I'm just excited about the prospects of these two.
This is 2 of the best teams in the comp. Banging bodies in the paint. This is going all the way to 7. Both of these movies have so much to like about them. And I agree with you. Friday 4 is that perfect kind of mixture of everything that these movies were. So in 1984, they kind of had distilled the slasher movie down to the absolute base element, and that was what Friday 4 was.
Mm.
But it's also better directed, better acted than most of the others. And a big tick for 4 is Jason is genuinely scary. Like, there is something really menacing about that portrayal. And he's shot a lot in darkness and stuff, and he's not around that much. And it really builds this sense of dread that where is he? When is he going to come out? The counter, Bloody Valentine is genuinely one of those slashers that I always go back to. Like, when I'm looking for a slasher and I just want to have some fun, Bloody Valentine is always the one I go for.
Mm.
And it has so much going for it. I love the small town vibe. I love the fact that it's not teens. It's working stiffs in their 20s. I like that. It's different.
Yep.
And the miner is a fantastic look for a killer. This one's tough, Jared.
It is.
And I'm going to, me personally, Friday gets it done.
Yeah, I'm leaning in the same direction.
And I hate to say that because I love My Bloody Valentine.
Yeah, so do I. And I think it just goes back to the classic sort of elements, right? That Crystal Lake setting, the Jason, as you've already pointed out. Although My Bloody Valentine does some things really well, there's a couple of cheesier elements that, look, Fridays are always got as we sort of get further away from them.
But they're kind of stripped away in 4.
But in part 4, they are stripped back a little bit, and we're more focused on some of the relationships.
I don't believe we were as laser focused.
Crispin Glover comes off the bench and just goes berserk for a couple of games.
Fucking 6 Man of the Year performance.
He's come off the bench for a couple of, in games 2 and 3 for a couple of...
He uses those halting stutter steps as he dances his way to the ring, as they say.
Yeah.
Correct. There are just those little bits that make Friday Part 4 just edges My Bloody Valentine. Which, again, as I said, I hate to say it because I love My Bloody Valentine.
Yes, I think you are correct, though. It's just on points. It's probably even could even Game 7 could even go to overtime.
It could.
It's a real
go to OT, but then Glover off the bed, holding steps to the ring, goes like this, does a bit of this sort of bullshit, and gets the buck.
Gets the job done.
Okay, the final second round of the playoffs, Western Conference, Scream versus Halloween 4. Scream's never had it this easy. I mean, it fucking walls us through this lot.
Right.
And, again, Halloween 4 is good fun and it's enjoyable, but fuck, it's up against a far superior outfit.
And it's going to one of the films where people would say this genre is starting to get stale and where we're repeating things over and over against the one that fucking asked a little more. Asked for a little more out of horror in general. So you're probably right. It's not a long series.
Yeah. Okay, so the end of the second round has us in the conference finals and the Western Conference finals. Friday 6, Friday 4, and Scream is who is left.
Right.
So what we're going to do is we've got 3 on the other side. Then we're going to mix them up.
Okay.
Again.
Is this your fucking shambles planning again? You ended up with 3 conference finalists?
It's a slight shambolic fucking. But all I needed was 6 teams. I just needed 6 teams.
You couldn't fucking dig out
I could have,
a few more movies and get it.
Jared, I could have.
This is not how a bracket
I would have had to
works.
spend fucking time this morning. I had no notes. This shit was big. This was 3 years old. I was fucking asking. Talk about dusting off scripts.
Look, it's a simple concept. A bracket requires that you go to the end of the bracket.
Yeah, I know, but I just split them in half. We needed 2 lots, and now we get 6 teams at the end. Then we're going to we'll re-put them against each other.
Yeah, but then we get fucking 3 left over.
No, we don't. We'll work that out when it comes. Fucking hell. Nobody looked at this, Jared. Jesus Christ.
I just assumed you had a neat form.
Oh, fuck. We're in trouble.
A neat 14 bracket at the end. We better look, prior to the finals, we might whip a quick play-in tournament.
Yeah, we better. Okay, just stop for a second, because we're going to have to cut all that out, because we're looking like fucking idiots.
Brilliant.
Look, again, I apologise for our fuck-ups. But this was whipped together on the fly, Jared.
Yes, I get that.
It was whipped together on the fly.
I don't know. I don't know where you got that bracket.
I don't know where I got it. Maybe I fucked around with it. I can't remember. Yeah. Again, it was a while ago. But okay, we've got 3 in the Western Conference, and as Jared has pointed out, we need 4. We're going to do a play-in tournament. Yes.
Yeah.
Come final.
Wild card.
So wild cards will be in. That's where we'll dredge up the others, and we'll give some.
Friday 5 might make an
appearance in the squad. And look, I apologise for our unprofessionalism, but fuck, this thing is 3 years old. I just dusted it off and we got going.
Yeah.
Okay, so over to the other conference, the Eastern Conference. Halloween versus Urban Legend. Halloween easily gets it done. Does Urban Legend get a game? Pull a game out of it?
No.
It's
going against, like we said, it's going against.
It's going against the 97 Bulls
teams. Yeah,
right. Yeah. You're getting your ass kicked there,
basically.
So Halloween streaks into the next round.
Yes.
Friday 2 versus Scream 2. This is a little tighter.
It is. Again, it's a close one. I personally will lean towards Scream 2 myself.
Yeah, I would agree. I think Friday 2's got a lot to like. It's just a little less... Like, Scream 2's a much better product. It's a better plotted product. It's more...
cash. More
it feels better.
I think the big things for me are going back to Scream 2 recently, aside from the fucking the toilet stall, that opening scene, fucking excellent.
Yeah.
The shock, the Randy, offing Randy, real shock. And I've come around to the ending over the years.
Yes, and the ending does hold up much better now than it used to.
I think, and a little bit of Timothy Oliphant ham goes a long way. Maybe not so much for you down the stretch.
He's a bit overboard, but it's okay. Look, it's okay. Friday 2 probably did better than it expected.
Yeah.
Because coming into this bracket, you're having much more problems against much more stacked lineups.
Yes.
And
correct.
It just doesn't quite have the firepower.
That's right. It's binged a couple of games.
Yeah.
Probably goes,
6?
It's probably gone 6.
Okay. So Scream 2 through with Halloween. And then the last one's Texas Chainsaw versus H2O.
Ooh.
For me, personally, the veteran gets the job done.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, as much as I do love Halloween H2O, I don't think I could mount an argument as to the sort of the cultural relevance and whatnot against Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes.
And, I've been vocal that Leatherface is not one of my favourites, and there's some real stinkers in that series.
Yeah.
And when it's bad, it's
really bad.
Really bad.
But when it's good, the first one is really good.
Is excellent.
And, look, H2O came out of the blocks and won game 1. But once TCM
settled
and found the rhythm, it takes it out.
Gentleman's sweep,
yeah. Look, and so now we're down to 6 teams with a play-in tournament to come. Again, something went wrong with the bracketing situation.
Honestly, the commissioner's been fucking fired.
No, he hasn't.
He's been fired.
He's a bit upset.
There's articles on Bleacher Report calling for his head.
Yeah, he's upset by the way this was handled. But these are the 6 teams still in. Friday 6, Friday 4, Scream 2, Halloween, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We'll have a play-in tournament to get the other 2 teams, and then we'll play them off in another episode for finals glory. Okay, that's where we can roll out some wild cards. Okay,
some interesting choices there.
Correct. Which now that I think about it,
Friday 5.
now that I think about it, the play-in tournament's a good idea because we can pull out some shit that we didn't have, and give some underdogs a shot,
and they can leapfrog 2 rounds worth of better pictures.
No, I've got a better idea, Jared. I've got a better idea.
Well, we can put some.
I'm going to put this to you. Bloody Valentine slides into that 8.
Well, I think we take a couple of those ones.
One from each side of the conference.
Black Christmas against a Bloody Valentine.
And then we put them against 2 new ones.
Against a couple of.
Okay, so let's put it this way.
The play-in tournament. The play-in tournament, you play the first game, winner goes through to play the.
Yeah. Play-in tournament will be between, on the Western Conference side, My Bloody Valentine and To Be Announced.
Yep.
And then on the Eastern Conference side, the play-in tournament will be Black Christmas, To Be Announced.
I think that's fair.
Yes. And I'm super happy because Bloody Valentine's back in the mix.
This was your plan all along?
No, it wasn't. I had not planned for this. As you can tell,
you quickly looked at your bracket this afternoon and said, "Oh shit, I think Bloody Valentine's not going to get through, so I better just wipe out
one whole fucking section and let's move on." All right, that's the first round of the playoffs. That's we got to the conference finals.
Yep.
We've got, we will have 8 teams to play it off in the next episode, which will be about the slasher movie finals. But until then, take it easy, and we'll catch up with everyone later. Cheers.
Find the podcast at Podomatic or on iTunes. Don't forget to rate and review. Like us on Facebook at Thrill Me Podcast Australia, or contact us at thrillme, all one word, all lowercase, at iinet.net.au.